So maybe you're ready to add some cardio to your life. You know all about the Peloton with its bells and whistles. But you also know about Peloton Digital, and this may have left you wondering what option is best for you. Well, today we're going to have a nice little conversation, a one-on-one, just you and me, talking about if I went back in time, and now that I've tried both options and put my time into them, which would I choose? And hopefully that will help you be more informed and be able to make a better decision on what's best for you. So let's get started. So if I'm starting over and I have to pick between one of these options, the first thing I'm going to do is take a look at Peloton Digital and understand the benefits of going down that road and keeping that in the front of my mind the whole time I'm evaluating the situation. And what do you gain? Well, really you just save a lot of money. The Peloton has different packages at different prices, but the package that most people are going to choose comes in at around $2,400. That is a hunk of change and a serious decision you have to make. But taking a bike like this, the Sunny, and completely building it out so you have all the bells and whistles that you can, is going to come in at around $650, assuming you have a device that you can put the Peloton app on, which most people do because there's a lot of different devices that are compatible with that. So right up front, you have an opportunity to save roughly $1,800 by going this route. But there's more. A lot of people can justify the price of the Peloton because they know the impact it can have on their life. And that's not a bad move. But then they realize that there's the subscription fee. And the Peloton, on top of the large fee to get into the bike, is also going to cost you $39 a month. Where going with Peloton Digital is $12.99 a month. So on top of being $1,800 cheaper, it also saves you $26 a month. And that's a lot of money every month that you get to save and keep in your pocket. But that begs the question, are you sacrificing too much by going with this option? And the answer is not at all. This option still gives you a great workout on a great bike, saving you a ton of money and giving you the Peloton experience. But you do lose some features. So what you have to ask yourself is, what motivates you? What is going to keep you coming back? And are the features that you lose here the difference makers that results in you not making the best decision for you so that you can keep exercising and making these differences in your life that you want to make? And the first thing I want to talk about is the clip-in pedals of the Peloton. This hooks you to the bike better and allows you to not only push down, but pull up on the upstroke, making you really connected to the bike. Now with an option like this, you have cages. So your foot slips into a cage instead of being hooked right to the pedal. And this is not the end of the world. You still have that ability to pull up, you're just not hooked in quite as tight. And if you're just beginning, I think this is more than enough. But if it were me, I know at some point I would work my way to clip-in pedals because I do like them. And that's where I want to say, most bikes, you have the ability to change the pedals to what you want. So this one is not a big deal because you're going to be able to make the bike have clip-ins if that's something important to you. So not a big deal. So my next item is the build of the Peloton bike. When you buy this thing, you know you bought something very nice, that it is of very high quality, and it feels great to ride. But this thing is great as well. So the question is it worth $1,800 to get this bike? And for me, on that item alone, I would say probably not. Now, if you're one of those people that just wants the best of the best, well then that right there might be enough for you to get the Peloton. But for me, that on its own is probably not enough to justify getting the Peloton bike. Our next item to discuss is this Peloton monitor right here. It's in that perfect location, it's nice and big, it's integrated with the bike, it shows stats on the screen that are coming from the bike. It is phenomenal, it is great, it's part of that Peloton ecosystem. Is it worth the $1,800 to upgrade? I would say no, not on its own. But all these things that are, well, maybes, start to add up. And this is where you really have to ask yourself, is it worth it? You know, the clip-in pedals, the screen, the quality of the bike, maybe all these things do add up. On their own, probably not. Together, maybe. But that is for you to decide. Second to last on our list of differences is resistance. Now, when you're doing a Peloton ride, they will constantly change what resistances they want you to be at. And they'll say, be between 35 and 45. Well, the Peloton, you spin this knob, it tells you on the screen where you're at, and you can always be mimicking what they say very easily and very quickly. But when you go with these alternative options, you don't always know what the resistance is. Some don't have anything on them at all. Some do, but it doesn't exactly match the Peloton, and you kind of have to adjust on the fly. Is this a showstopper? No. Can you work around it? Yes. Is it a little bit of an inconvenience? Maybe, and it depends on how you like to approach that. I wouldn't say on its own this is something that would make you want to upgrade to the Peloton, but this is just another item stacking on top of all the other items that might help you justify why you'd want to get the Peloton, but not necessarily an item that says you have to. You can still make this thing work. Now, my last difference to discuss is the leaderboard. People are motivated in different ways. For some, it's the instructors. For some, it's heart rate zones. For some, total output. For me, I get motivated by all those, but it doesn't compare to that leaderboard. When I start a ride, I will immediately go look at that leaderboard. I will switch to who's riding right now. So a lot of times you'll start a ride that's been recorded recently and say there's 20 people on it right then. I will see who's on it, who's near me, who's starting it around the same time, and I will try to go catch people that were ahead of me. I will try to stay ahead of people that were behind me. And there are people at all sorts of different skill levels. So someone that started maybe 2 minutes after me and has catch to do, I'll see them just flying up on me. And that will push me so hard to work out much harder than I would have otherwise, to try to stay ahead of that person. And every ride I do is an opportunity to race against new people. And this results in amazing workouts that I would not get otherwise. And that's why for me, if I were to go back and I had to decide between one of these, I would choose the Peloton. I know it's an expensive decision, but for me, there are a lot of things that are great about the Peloton. But when you throw that leaderboard on top of all the other items we've discussed, I end up with a workout that I just wouldn't get on this. Now, when I rode this, I got a great workout. So I am not diminishing this thing in the slightest. If this is the route you go, you will get amazing workouts. But if the thing that motivates you is competition, then the Peloton can take it to another level. And that's why you have to ask what motivates you. If that's not important to you, you could possibly save a ton of money by going with this option. So maybe go back and watch this video, consider the topics we've discussed, and really try to find out which ones are the ones that are important to you or what are not. Which ones are the ones that would keep you coming back and keep you riding on it and make your investment worthwhile and help you change your health. And that might help you decide what option is best for you. Until next time, here's to a healthier you, and have a good one.